No, not yet. I clicked the wrong button. I thought I was ending the broadcast when I was trying to go live. So I guess we're live. Thank goodness. So I'm not sure where that came from. I just had something pop up on my screen and I was like, well, what is that? And where did that come from? I think it'll be interesting to look at later. But hello, everyone. I am so glad that you decided to join me tonight. I'm going to go ahead and give our greeting and then we'll kind of get things started. So as you can see, we are live. And the question I want to address tonight is, what is the role of the homemaker today? And I'm also interested in whether or not you think the role of homemaker has changed. But before we get into that, if we're just meeting, I'm Denise Jordan, and I teach traditional homemaking for today's homemaker. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then hit that subscribe button and double tap that little bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming content. And then our sponsors tonight are two sponsors. Our co-sponsors are Apron Diva. Aprons are pretty and practical. Whether you're cooking, cleaning, or gardening, an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. So be sure to visit Apron Diva in the description box or just go to www.aprondiva.com. And then coldest water. And coldest water has one enemy. And you guys have seen this pretty little pink water bottle before. You're going to be seeing it for a while because coldest water is one of the sponsors of our Thursday show. And coldest water has one enemy, and that is hot. Their goal is to bring you the coldest water possible, and refillable water bottles help to reduce your environmental footprint. So let's shrink that environmental footprint by using refillable water bottles such as this. It's insulated and it doesn't sweat, so I don't have to worry about watermarks on my wood tables. And Mickey Blue Skies will tell you guys how I am a stickler about using a coaster because I don't want watermarks on my table. And she'll say, this bottle doesn't sweat. So this one doesn't sweat, so I don't have to worry about that one. So there's that. And then the other thing I've learned to love about it is that I had it out in the garden yesterday and my hands were all muddy and grubby. And you see the little pink and white that's on it and it all washed right off and it looks nice and neat. So be sure and check out their website. They give some really cool giveaways. Every week they have a new giveaway. So you can click on the link in the description box and join the giveaway. And if you want to order something, there's a 10% discount. So there's that. And if you're here on the replay, let me just say welcome. I'm so glad you joined us today. Please engage and leave us a comment or a question or whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to go ahead and greet some of the people that have joined us live. So let's see who's here. So I've got Mickey Blue Skies, one of my moderator, and she's here to help greet everyone. And then I've got Take Me to Tammy's House. Tammy says good evening. And then Matriarchs Matter, Nefertiri has joined us as well. Hey, Nefertiri, it is so good to see you. And then our littlest sister that is here with us almost every week is Vamsy. I think she's in 6th or 7th grade, Vamsy. Tell me if I've got that right. You're in 6th or 7th grade, I do believe. And she's learning about just different little things about being a homemaker when she grows up. And let's see. Khadija from Her Healthy Home is with us as well. Hey, Khadija, I was checking out your small pantry reorganization video earlier today. If you guys have not visited Khadija at Her Healthy Home, be sure and check her out as well. And then Carol is here to say hello. And let's see. Rachel Knight is here as well. And I had wanted to show you guys something. I had mentioned a few weeks ago. Well, I'm digging in my purse, so hang on a second. And I know I probably shouldn't be doing this right now, but the mood struck me, so I was digging in my purse for something to show you guys. So I was digging in my purse because I had told you guys a few weeks ago that I had gotten some friend mail, a really nice little note from Rachel Knight, and it was just before Easter. And I told you guys about it, but I didn't show it to you. But I just thought it was just so adorable. Just look at that. Isn't it cute? I love little things like that. So I wanted to show it on screen rather than just tell it. So there's that. And then Rebecca Sanford from East Texas is here. Hey, Rebecca. And then amen, amen. I forgot what you said your name was, amen. You'll have to tell us again. And then Kendra is here. Hello, Kendra. And Joella Marshall. And then Libby is here as well. So let's see. Have I greeted everyone? Lois Campbell is here, and this is her first live. Hey, Lois, welcome to the Traditional Homemaker Show. I'm so glad you were able to be with us today. And Mickey Blue Sky says she wants one of these water bottles, and they've got one in her favorite color. Yes, they do. That little aqua that you love so much. And let's see. Hooray! Khadija was one of the first people to notice. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I wasn't going to talk about Apron Diva right now. I was going to try not to talk about it because I don't want to bore you guys or bug you guys to death. But you guys, since she brought that up, I want to say that I did launch Apron Diva 2 weeks ago, and the response has been so nice. And so many of you went on and placed an order, including Rachel Knight, who I just was showing you my card that I received from her, and Khadija from Her Healthy Home, and some others of you that are on there, Evelyn Mitchell, and several people have ordered things. But Khadija's the first one that mentioned the apron note is a nice touch. Then a couple of other people mentioned it, but here's the thing. We really wanted you guys to notice the apron notes, not just the apron itself, but the apron notes. And I got a stack of them out here. And what I want you to know is each note is different. And the reason why we decided to put the apron notes in, and me and Mickey Blue Skies, oh, she's probably telling me I'm talking too much. Oh, and me and Mickey Blue Skies spent a lot of time trying to decide, what we wanted to use, for the apron notes, and to come up with something good and something that was inspirational and something also that we felt was motivational. And so each note, well, we've got a series of different notes. And so the notes that go into the package are individual, but they are randomly selected. So we don't know what note you're going to get. But when you look at the back of the note, and I'll just show you the back of the note. I won't read you all the notes, but this is the back of the note. And it says that the purpose of the apron notes are to remind each of you homemakers how special you really are. And we know that sometimes homemakers struggle with being with the reality of how important they are, that sometimes homemakers that are homemaking full-time are disparaged, or that homemaking, whether you're working outside the home or inside the home, stay-at-home mom, work outside the home mom, is a hard job and isn't always rewarded. And so we wanted to inspire you and reward you with an apron note that comes in the package with your order. So we say that, we don't choose the note chooses you. So we don't know what note you're going to get, but our hope is that the note you get is the perfect note for you, that is the perfect message of inspiration that you need. And we're hoping that you'll put your note, say, somewhere up where you can keep it, like maybe on your mirror, in your planner, on a bulletin board, on your refrigerator, but somewhere that you can see it so that when you need just a little bit of a lift, you can look at that apron note and you will see that. So those are meant to be keepsakes. So you'll get your apron, and then our special thanks to you is the apron note. So Khadija, do you mind sharing what your apron note was? And we're hoping the wrapping paper and all of that. She said that was a nice touch too. We really wanted you to have a good experience when you opened your package. We wanted you to be excited, to enjoy what you got, and we just really wanted it to be pretty. So That was a little more than I expected to talk about right now. But Khadija, you just so touched my heart when you said you enjoyed the nice touch. So thank you. So there we go. So yes, we are glad that you enjoyed that because we put a lot of time and thought and attention into creating the apron notes, and then Mickey Blue Skies helped to design them. Well, helped to design them because, I don't design anything. She does all of that. So there's that. So thank you. Krish. Amen. Amen is Krish. So I'm going to write that down. Like I was saying, Mickey Blue Skies is better at remembering the names sometimes than I am. I already greeted Rebecca and then Yolanda Matthews. I think Yolanda's been here before. So hello, Yolanda. Hopefully, I'm not boring you guys with all of my heartfelt thank yous. And I really do appreciate all the orders that I got from people. We have almost sold out of everything in Apron Diva. So we've reordered some things and we've got some more supplies coming in. They should be here any day. But I do want to thank you guys for your support. I truly appreciate it. And Tommy's Homestead Garden, how are you? I am doing great, Tommy. I'm so glad that you're here with us. I've got some people here from Khadijah's gardening community, and I so appreciate that. And Rachel got hers. Great. You were so far away. We weren't sure when you would get it. You liked the paper and you kept it. Okay. And what was your apron note, if you don't mind sharing? Hopefully you kept the note too. So if you guys don't mind sharing what your apron note was, we would love to hear it. Going Green Mom, was your name Heather or was it Megan? I'm off tonight. So let's see. Khadijah's talking to someone. Vamsi's got a new water bottle for her school, and it's very nice. Good, Vamsi. Kendra, wait a minute. I missed that. Right there. When Kendra says our God knows what we need. Exactly. So that's why, when like sometimes, like I've been looking at the notes a couple of times when me and Mickey Blue Skies were packing orders and I was like, well, I like this message. And she just would give me this look. I'm like, okay. And it's like, we're not supposed to be trying to choose the message for the person. It's like, it goes in randomly. So we really don't know what note you get, but it's like God helps to choose to direct the message you're supposed to get. So yes. And Tommy said she's been a homemaker now for a year and realized there's a lot that goes into being a homemaker and house manager. Boom! That's another one who's kind of tapped into the house manager philosophy. And I didn't bring my house manager book up here today, but there's a book that has a whole school of thought about being a house manager, but I didn't bring it up here today. But look what Rachel says, domicile engineer, domestic engineer. Yeah, those were terms that we used to use. And then It's Possible Pig. Let us know what your name is because we like to know what people's names are. And says that, he has to work and can't imagine a better use of time than cooking and caring for the family. And you're fortunate. Working outside the home isn't very fulfilling for him. And for some people, working outside the home can be very fulfilling. They really enjoy that, but they also enjoy what they do working inside the home as well. And so then they're doing two full-time jobs. You go to work and then you come home and then you work some more. So there's that. So Tommy, I'm glad you're here with us live. And thank you. We are hoping that the aprons are lovely and feminine. That's our whole point. And then there's Cal. Okay, Cal, well, I'm going to quit talking about the aprons now. At least I'm going to try to because I promised you guys a different topic. But yes, working outside the home is a difficult task, especially when you have a family. I saw the best commercial yesterday, and it was called When You Become Real. And I'm trying to think, this commercial was either by Johnson & Johnson or Huggies. It was some diaper commercial, I believe. But it was all about when you become real. And it talked about you become real when a child really loves you. And it just showed different aspects of people's lives with children. It opened up with this mom giving birth, and you saw like right in the delivery room, you saw the baby and how they look when they first are delivered. They showed neonatal intensive care babies. and just all different kinds of, babies and children and all that. It was so touching. But it talked about when you become real. And I thought, I like the way that they phrased that. Megan, going green is Megan. Okay, I was close to that. Okay, it's possible pig. She's Teresa, not a man or a pig. Okay, Teresa, thank you. I was just looking at the picture, and that's why I said we like to know each other's names so that we know who's who. So Teresa, good to know. And oh, so Rachel Knight's note said, a cozy home isn't always Pinterest perfect. And that is absolutely true. When we think about making and keeping a home, some of us believe that if we don't have a home that looks Pinterest worthy or it's ready to go on a Pinterest board all the time, that we're doing something wrong. And that's not true. A cozy home does not have to be Pinterest perfect. So I'm so glad that you got that one. And when you've got a toddler, if I recall, and so not too often do people with toddlers have Pinterest perfect homes. And sometimes they feel like the house is getting away because there's so much to do to keep up with that child. So I hope that was a good apron note for you. And let's see, Cal. Oh, no, Cal. No. It's okay. It's okay. I'm the one that just didn't want to talk too much. Not you. It was me. Because, guys, sometimes I can be chatty Cathy, and we're supposed to be talking about the role of the homemaker. And I didn't want anyone to feel like, oh, so we were supposed to talk about the role of the homemaker. And all she did was talk about her apron shop. So that was it. That was just me. And let's see. Libby is on and saying, welcome to Jasmine. And I must have missed Jasmine, but hello, Jasmine. I'm glad you're here. And oh, right there, I see 80s and Mascara. She's a new subby and she's from Houston. So lovely to catch me live. One of my granddaughters live in Houston. So it's nice to have you here. 80s, 808s and Mascara. Looks like you're a young person like she is. So she lives there. So yes, definitely. Pampers commercial. Oh, it was just so wonderful. I looked at it and I had tears in my eyes. It was so good. Um, she says, pick, it's possible, Pig. The name is from the Princess Bride movie. Okay, I get it. I get it. So Rachel says the note meant a lot to her. She's trying to find a new balance. She's doing the 100-mile challenge for Stop Soldier Suicide, working out, and then with her husband being gone, she's finally getting her routine. Yes, Rachel, that's the thing. Now, ladies, and if there's any gents that are on, Rachel is a military family. So she's a military wife. Her husband's been deployed. So right now she's living the life of a military wife when her husband is deployed. And so let's send her our prayers and our support. And she's trying to come up with a new normal for her and her child. And I used to watch this show called The Unit. And it really helped me get a feel for what military wife life was like. Not that everything on it was absolutely realistic, because I don't know, but it just gave me a little bit of a feel for what it was like to have your husband have to leave often to go away, and then the worry and concern that you have about them in that regard. So there's that. So Rachel, yeah, you have to come up with a new normal, a new routine, and we do understand that soldier suicide is important. So tell us what you're doing in regard to that 100-mile challenge. Are you guys raising money? What's all that doing, going along with that? Okay. Her healthy home said watching the Army Wives show made her feel better. And yeah, I'm glad that you said that. And I was saying, Khadija, you and Rachel have a lot in common. I believe your husband was in the military, but he's home now. Her husband was just deployed like not long ago. So there's that. Oh, excuse me. How indelicate. So Tammy said her husband was in the military, but he drives a truck, so he's still gone quite a bit of the time. Having a routine helps pass the day and keeps your mind busy. So Mickey Blue Skies, remind me to check out this particular website Is this a website? Rebecca Sanford, veteran, military wife, combat wounded, disabled soldier mom. So this is your description of you, Rebecca. Okay. So we've got a lot of military wives that are on here with us tonight. So, hey. So Megan said Army wives helped her back when she was with someone in the military too. So yeah, there's a lot that um, Army wives, or not just Army wives, military families have to put up with. And I remember when Michelle Obama was the first lady, military families was one of her priorities. And I don't know if First Lady Jill Biden is going to continue that work or not. I know there's been some discussion about that, but military families do need quite a bit of support. Okay, so this does though kind of lend us into our topic for today, which my topic for today is what is your role of a homemaker? And when we look at that, by definition, a homemaker is a person, usually a housewife, who manages a home. That's one of the definitions that I found. And then when I Googled what is the difference between a homemaker and a housewife, I got this. And it said housewife is also, it said housewife, see also homemaker. And then homemaker is a hypernym of housewife, in that housewife, a house homemaker is relatively something, I guess, a term pretty much used in the US, but a person who maintains the upkeep of his or her residence, especially one who is not employed outside the home, while a housewife is the wife of a householder, the mistress of a family, and the female head of a household. I thought that was interesting that they had all that tied in there. And it seemed to be tied to wife. However, it is, my belief that a homemaker can be anyone that is making and keeping a home. Because, and I believe that a homemaker can make a home for themselves. For example, Mickey Blue Skies has mentioned several times she's making a home for herself. Or you could be making a home for you and your boo, or you and a family. And you can look at you and your guy or you and your partner as a family, a two-person family unit, or it could be a family with children. It varies. But from my perspective, a homemaker is anyone who is making and keeping a home, whether it's a home for you yourself or for you and a partner or you and a family. And it doesn't have to be a female or a housewife. I was reminded several times, that sometimes it can be the male partner who is home keeping the home. Because, we have house dads, or something like that, or stay at home dads, because sometimes the other partner may have a job that brings in a more of an income. And so the two together make a decision on who's going to stay at home and manage the home and the family, that kind of thing. And then one of the other things that we've learned is that since the shutdown associated with COVID, that many people became homemakers and stay-at-home homemakers unintentionally. And so they're making homes as well. So there's all of that. Okay. So let me just visit the chat for a second. So Rachel's doing a fundraiser and on Instagram. She's reached her goal for that. So the 100 miles is to bring awareness, and she's up to 25.8 miles for the month. And she's got to do 100 miles has to be done in this month. Okay, so you can do it. You just have to plan how many miles a day you need to do to get it done. So yeah, you're doing that. And then Khadija is saying, try to find some me time in there. Take yourself out on a date. If you can find someone to babysit, or a night when the baby sleep, then, treat yourself, because yes. So Rachel's getting kudos. Hey, Michelle, at My Everyday Wife Life. Glad you were able to join us. Um, so Rachel's being encouraged to email Rebecca if she needs the support. Let's see what else. Crystal, you're fine. Don't worry about that at all. And I don't see any buffering here, so it could just be your connection. And then Forza Juve, I think you were on with us last week. I believe you said your name was Rebecca, and you're Dominant Man's wife, something like that. But there it is. There's that. And so Kendra says, at Timmy's Garden is her, herself, and her fur baby. So yes. Let's see. All right. So there we go. So I think I've kind of checked out all of the different people that are here visiting us tonight. So we are going to go ahead and go on with our topic. So then if we look at the question, who can be a homemaker, then that means that anyone can be a homemaker. Anyone can be a homemaker. They just have to be willing to do the things that are needed to keep a home. So if you ask yourself, what are some of the duties associated with being a homemaker? And those duties include, cooking, cleaning, laundry, that kind of thing. But as well as maintenance of the home. So we look at cooking, cleaning, laundry. But if there's children in the home, then it also has to do with, managing the children, raising the children, monitoring the budget, paying the bills, making sure that things get taken care of. That if there's a problem with the sink or something like that. Now, you may not be the one to fix it, but you may direct your significant other. Okay, there's the sink is on the blink. Can you call someone to do it? Or it might be your responsibility to call that plumber or something like that. So there's quite a few things that you have to do as a homemaker. And then Rebecca says organizing and time management are very, very important to being a homemaker, particularly if you have children. Now, the one other thing that we see happening as well is that there is a trend right now that some of the millennials are choosing to be housewives. So when the couples get married, they have a discussion and they are choosing for the wife to stay at home and manage the home with no children. And then when the children come, they'll already be there. There is a little bit of, scratchiness associated with that. And it's kind of funny that I say that because I just heard a little bit of this the other day. I was talking to a group of women and one of them was saying that one of her relatives was getting married, doesn't have any children, but she was going to be a stay-at-home wife. And the comment was, well, what are you staying at home for? You can get a job until you have a family. What are your thoughts on that? Let's address that. Because, it used to be long ago for those that could afford it. When you got married, you stayed at home, you took care of the home and the husband until the children came, and then you were already there. Today, there's a new trend where some women are choosing to become housewives, regardless of what the level of their education is. So let's talk about that. And hey, Penny, it's good to have you here. So Kendra said her problem is she despises washing clothes and dusting. You know what? There's nothing you can do about the fact that it has to be done. But what you can do is change your attitude about how you feel about washing clothes and dusting. You've got to wash clothes. So if you do one small load a day, every day, just if you work outside the home, you throw that load in before you go to work, get it out when you come home, throw it in the dryer while you're making dinner and doing other things, and then put it away before you go to bed. And it's a small load. If you have a family, no, I think it's just you, your kids, and your fur babies. So if your children are old enough to help with the laundry, get them to help fold things up and get them put away. They can fold and put away while you're making dinner or whatever. But if you do one small load a day, it's not so overwhelming. And the dusting only has to be done once a week, and it doesn't have to be major dusting. Every week on a certain day, like on Mondays, I do my weekly home blessing and I dust all the tops in all the different rooms, and I can get that dusting done in less than 15 minutes. So think about that. Now let me find that. So Blue Sky says, from her perspective, being a homemaker, the duties include taking care of the home. And there's so many things that goes into that. In addition to the cooking, the cleaning, and that kind of thing, as you very well know, because you've had to have someone come out and look at the refrigerator, or you've had to have work done in the backyard on some kind of a sewer line or something like that. So there's all kinds of things that you have to have people help do. Hey, Deborah Taylor, it's good to have you with us as well. And so Blue Sky said she tries to do a load of clothes every day. That just kind of helps keep Mount Washmore weight. He helps keep it down, and it doesn't feel so overwhelming. So Tammy says it's a full-time job taking care of the home. Yes, it is. So that's why when I had the discussion, well, it wasn't a discussion. We were talking about a bunch of other things, and that piece came up when the comment was, well, you're going to waste your education? Like, you can get a job until you guys have children. What are your thoughts on that? And I think that's part of the disparagement or part of the negativity that some homemakers face. So there's that. So Jewel is here and she's been greeted. And Julia says, budgeting the household income. Oh my goodness. When I was a young wife, I didn't know the first thing about making a budget. Our checking account was always overdrawn. I remember once I was sitting at the bank and I was talking to the lady at the desk crying because I had overdrawn our checking account by $100. And back then, $100 was a lot of money. And she was trying to show me how you reconcile your checkbook and all that kind of thing. So yes, budgeting the household income, making appointments for medical care, home repair deadlines, and all that kind of stuff. Those are important things. And I wish I had learned how to budget much sooner than I did. I can manage a budget now, but I was a hot mess when I was younger. So that's one of the things that I did learn. And so, wait a minute. And I wrote down what she said her name was. Teresa. Teresa says that the feminists went too far and judge women for being supported by their husbands. You know, Teresa, and I think I have that right. I won't say necessarily that it's the womenist and that they judge women for being supported, but it's just that today, most people feel like that both parties can be productive and that both parties have important skill sets to bring to the table and can earn income. And we've gotten to a place in our society where it's difficult to live on one income. It is just downright difficult. Particularly dependent upon where part of the country you live in, when expenses are higher, cost of living is higher in some parts of the country compared to others. So I think that's where some of that is. But yes, sometimes women are judged if they're not contributing to the household income. And then, well, but yes, I'll just leave it there. And so I agree with Blue Skies. It's like what works out for you and your partner. That's what's important. If you and your partner have decided that, you know what, I'm going to stay at home and manage the home. And then when we have children, I'll be there. You know, you're going to go out and go to work and you're going to bring in an income. It doesn't mean that because you're home, you may not also come up with some ways to be contributing to the household income. But that's a choice that you and your partner make. And that kind of philosophy leads into the fact that being a homemaker is not really work or contributing to the household. Exactly. It is that thought that leads to there. But being a homemaker is contributing to the household. And if you think about a few weeks ago, we talked about how much it would actually cost for you or a partner to pay someone to come in and do all the things that a stay-at-home homemaker does. It's almost cost prohibitive. So you are contributing to the household because they're not having to pay a salary or that amount of money for someone else to come in and do the things that you're doing at home. So definitely right. Crystal, boom. I gotta say, you got a point right there. If all the wives' needs are met, her retirement, etc., also needs to be a priority. And you are absolutely right. I think that when we look at today's society and the way that some marriages survive and then some marriages are dissolved, there does need to be a point where, let's say where there's some money that's being put aside for the wife's retirement as well as for the guy's retirement, the husband's retirement, because should something happen and then the marriage breaks up, then what so often happens is the wife goes into poverty. She falls below the poverty line from an income perspective unless she's a professional making a lot of money. And then the husband goes on and then remarries, and the second wife, gets the success that the first wife was with them to help earn. So that can be an issue. So I agree that there should be some monies that are being set aside for that stay-at-home wife too, that are just kind of, just like there's money going into the retirement plan for the hubby, there should be money that's been set aside in a retirement plan for the wife so that both parties are being mutually protected. So Tommy says it's a gray area for her. Whatever works in their household is fine. I agree. You're not paying the bills for someone else. So whatever works in that household, then that's what works. And other people should not be making derogatory comments about that. But so often, the homemakers who are stay-at-home homemakers, when they're out somewhere and someone says, well, what do you do? And you say, well, I'm a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home mom, or I'm a homemaker. Sometimes they're not treated kindly. Let me see if I'm getting a message. Okay. So there's that. So again, both parties need to be protected. Let's see. I need to find that. You guys have had lots of conversation. Okay. So Michelle says it's great. It's a lot of work to manage a household with or without kids. Yes, it is. There is a lot that goes into managing a home, and you don't have to have children for it to be difficult. So I agree. So whether you have children or not, if you and your partner choose that you're going to stay at home to manage the home, then that's fine. So Megan says her concern is the lack of stability if something happens to the worker. But if it's our money instead of his money and they're on the same page, why not? Agreed. So it should be our money and not his money. And there should never be that conversation where, look, I'm the one making the money, so you do what I say. No, that's not the way it is. It's like it's our money. I'm contributing to the household because I'm home doing these things, and you're contributing to the household because you're going out and you're doing those things, and it is our home together. But I do like the thought that someone had mentioned earlier, and it might have been you, Megan, about putting aside money for the retirement for the wife as well, so that both parties will have some securities down the road. And then Nefertiri definitely supports man and wife making decisions that they feel suits them. And I'm a believer that as a helpmeet, my first obligation is my household, children or no children. Exactly. Your first obligation is to your household, which is you and your partner, because children grow up and they leave home. And when they do, then it's you and your partner. So you want to work on building that relationship and maintaining a home for you and your partner so that it's a kind and warm and cozy and comfortable place so that when the children are gone, you two still have something in common. So there's that. So Khadija says that she stayed home before having children. They discussed it before they got married, and that's her biblical belief. So great. And that's exactly what you are asked to do. And what I'm asking you guys to do is to have the conversation with your partner, and then based upon your beliefs, you'll make a decision that works for your family. Dusting. Bamsey says, do I have any cleaning jobs to do at home? Yes, Bamsey, I have most of the cleaning jobs to do here in this home. Hubby will do whatever I ask him to do, but typically he takes out the garbage and he mops the floors, and the rest of the cleaning goes to me. But if I ask him to do something, he will do it. So yeah, I have a lot of cleaning jobs. So Libby says she agrees with Tommy. What works for each household works for them. And if the decision is between the couple, then the decision is between the couple. And that's exactly right. It's between the couple. And, Khadija said that she stayed at home before they had children. Her and her hubby had the conversation, and it supported their faith. And the nice thing about that is that you have the support of your husband and you guys were able to make that work. There are some families that maybe they have that desire, but financially they're not able to make that work. So I'm really glad that that worked out for you. And I agree that you guys need to have that. Okay. All right. So let me find that. I got to find, there's a message here that I wanted to share. Well, Rebecca says on the flip side, she believes women need to have some type of job skill to fall back on in case they wind up being alone. Rebecca, I can't say you're wrong there because sometimes things don't work out the way life is planned. It doesn't always work out that way. And they need to have something to fall back on. But if throughout the marriage, if some monies were put aside for the wife's retirement, just like they're put aside for the husband's retirement, that would help offset that. But yeah, that can be a problem. So Kendra says, just heard she's disabled. Okay. She doesn't do one load a day. I'm trying to find that message, Blue Skies. I got to find it. Megan wonders why the guys in our family got the mopping floor task. Just curious. It seems disjointed if they aren't sweeping and such. Well, they would sweep the floor, mop the floors, whatever. But if they had to mop the floor, they would sweep them before they mopped them. But I don't know. My husband's family was the same thing. They mopped the floors and took out the garbage. Blue Skies, I'm trying to find that message from Kendra. I would like to show that message from Kendra, who says this is the best. K. Miller. That said this is the best live stream. Where is it? So I must have passed it and I can't seem to find it. But K. Miller said, I can read it here on the phone. This is the best live channel that I've ever been in. Miss Denise, you are phenomenal with the way you interact with your followers. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I can't find it here on the screen, but I must have missed it somehow or another. Okay, so there's that. All right, so we looked at those comments and So Tammy said she worked outside the home for 12 years, but her heart was always at home. And I agree. I worked outside the home part of the time when the kids were little. And there are just things that you miss, when they take, sometimes you're working when they take their first steps or they make their first, or they say some of their first words. There are things you just miss when you're working outside the home and the babysitter gets to see them and you miss them. But that's the reality of life. You have to live the life you have. You have to run the race you're given. And so you make decisions based on that. And when you can make different decisions, you do. Uh, oh, Rachel Knight says she can manage a load a day until the hubby's home. He makes his washing as a whole preschool. I get it. When especially in the summer, spring and summer, when it's fishing season and time to mow the lawn and stuff like that, I swear my husband generates as much laundry as a 2-year-old. In the wintertime, it's not too bad. So Rachel says childcare in Hawaii is not in the cards. She, can only make enough to cover the childcare and gas. And so if that's all you're making, sometimes people decide they'd rather stay home than spend the time with their family because they don't feel like it's cost effective. And so that's a decision that you guys have to talk about and make. And Megan, I don't want to be a Denise Downer, but you are right. With divorce rates the way they are, sometimes it is important that a woman has something that she can do to help in case the marriage should dissolve. Just different supports and that kind of thing. So that's why having that bank account that you build for the wife as well as the husband is just so important. So Teresa says her neighbor is a stay-at-home dad. The wife is an attorney, and it works out great for them. So yes, sometimes, depending upon who has the most income, you do what works best for your family. Okay. So Rachel said when she and the husband got married, they got a prenup to protect them both in case of divorce, to be fair. And if you don't make your own legal prenup, you default to something. Okay, that makes sense. That makes so much sense. And if you've got a couple kids, sometimes it does cost as much for the wife when she works outside of the home. Sometimes it's as much as it costs for her to work. So yeah, I agree. There's the comment that I couldn't find. Thank you, Kendra. I appreciate that. Rebecca, you have a good time. Going out to dinner for your 37th anniversary. I like it. So have a good time there. Let's see what else. Okay. So I think I got most of those comments in there. Are there any particular characteristics that a homemaker needs? Tell me that. Do you feel like there's any particular characteristics? Characteristics. Are there any particular characteristics that a homemaker needs? For me, I think patience is one. Discipline so that you can set a daily routine and be able to stick to that. What else though? What are some other things? Hey, my other sister jumped on, Lavina Stewart. Hey sis, good to have you with us. So now I have two sisters that are on, and then my honorary sister from another mister. I always say Cal is my sister from another mister. But what are some of the characteristics of that a homemaker needs? So I mentioned I forgot what I mentioned, but Nefertiri says a heart of a servant, and very sure a heart of a servant because you are serving your family. Time management skills, says Khadija. Absolutely right. Time management. And I know when I was home with the kids and my husband worked, and typically he would be off work by 4 o'clock, 4:30 sometimes. And so it was like I kind of operated my day to be home. I mean, to be home, to be done with everything that I need to have done in the house by like 3:30 or 4 o'clock, so that when he got home, I could greet him and then the kids could spend some time with him, that kind of thing. So time management is important. Tammy says love for the family. Yes, definitely. You have to love your family and also love and enjoy what it is you're doing, because, homemaking is definitely a work of heart. It is not just something that, you just take for granted. It's a work of heart because sometimes it's a dirty work that you have to do. I mean, let's face it. Changing a baby's poopy diaper is not pleasant, but it's something that you do. Kids sick and they throw up and you got to clean that up. Not pleasant. And then laundry and mopping floors and all the other things that you do just to maintain a home. So it's definitely a work of art. You got to have love for your family for that. Okay. People are having a conversation. Julia says homemaking requires a humble spirit willing to ebb and flow with the needs of the family. Boom. I like that one too. Here's the thing. The family's needs will change. The family's needs will change over time. I get thirsty when I talk so much. So the family's needs do change. And so your spirit has to be willing to ebb and flow with that change. As the kids get older and they get more involved with after school activities, then you become that chauffeur, taking them here and there and everywhere. So there's that. You have to be pleasant. I like that too. Boom, Rachel, a soft place to land. Your home should be a soft place to land, comforting to your spouse, listening and comforting to your kids. It should be cozy, and so should you. Now, a comforting place to land, a soft place for your children and your spouse, cozy. So how should you dress then? That's a question I want us to get into. But let me just share you something that I remember. I remember when we were living in our first home, our first house, and the kids, the kids must have been about, I don't know, 10 years old, something like that. The twins were about 10 at the time. And I had made cupcakes that day, and I had put the cupcakes on the table on little plates for each of them. So when they came in, they would see them. And I remember Jason came up the walk, and we had a big bay window right in the front of the house. And so you could look from that window right into the kitchen. And I remember Jason looked in the window and he could see the cupcakes on the table. And he ran back to the sidewalk and he yelled, "Jill, come and get your treat." And that's just a little thing, but I just remember how excited he was to see that little treat. Just simple little cupcakes on the table, but like, "Jill, come and get your treat." He was excited that there was a treat on the table for the two of them. And those are just little things that homemakers do, be it mom or dad, or sometimes it's like little notes that you might put in the lunch bag or that kind of thing. Blue Skies and Rachel are having a conversation. Selfless. Yes, Nefertiti, definitely selfless. And then Teresa says you want to have warmth because you're creating your family's world. Absolutely. A home should be nurturing and not necessarily Pinterest perfect, but nurturing and cozy and that kind of thing. You need a caring and loving spirit. Organization and time management are huge. And to some degree, if you have kids teaching, even if you're not homeschooling, learning different things around the home, I agree. Let's see. So Kendra says she cooks with her heart. Okay. Nefertiti says she learned from Fly Lady that complaining is a no-no. So I guess that's the opposite of complaining would be gratitude. And yes, I think we have to get to a point that we are grateful for those things that we do. We can complain about the socks or the shoes that our partner leaves on the floor, or we can complain about the hair in the sink when they do their shaving and they don't clean the sink out. We can complain about all those things. But here's the question that I had to give myself some thought about is, what if they weren't there? You didn't have anyone to drop hair in the sink. You didn't have any shoes that you had to pick up. So you can be grateful that you've got a person there that you can have some conversation with about how you can help them sort out leaving hair in the sink. You know, my sister-in-law gave me an idea that she said she did with her husband about what she did to help him manage hair in the sink when he would shave, that kind of thing. And then like what battle is important, you know, like my husband will have shoes downstairs, you know, in the family room by his chair. And I thought, is it a big deal to complain about those shoes? Can I just move them, or can I leave them be and not worry about it until we have company coming over? So you can kind of pick and choose what it is that you want to complain about, and think about a space of gratitude, that kind of thing. And then there's Jenny Smith, be grateful. I was just thinking about that. So Diva's House says, treat it the same way you would as if it were your own business. Exactly, because it is your business. All right. Well, you know what? Now, Diva has brought up something that I was going to try to talk to a little bit later on. But yes, she said she wears cute house dresses, cute flats, and lipstick. Her hair is always together. I like that. And I have to tell you, so I had another conversation this past weekend with some women, and I was telling them about my YouTube channel. And I was telling them that sometimes I'll put on my Donna Reed persona, and I'll have on these little, you know, these cute little dresses, some of them with the big skirts and the, you know, the big apron, the can underneath, so they kind of bell out. And now sometimes I put on some little pumps, and sometimes I have on flats, but I have on my pearls and the whole 9 yards. And the question she asked me was, are you setting an example to make them think they have to look this way? So now that's the question. Diva Lashes 53. And Diva Lashes, what is your name? We like to call each other by our names here. So tell us what your name is. So you choose to have your hair always together, have on cute house dresses, cute flats, and lipstick. And I ain't mad at you. I'm rocking that persona myself. But the one thing that I did want to say, and I'll tell you guys why I moved to that in a little bit. But one of the things, though, that I do want to say is that it doesn't have to look that way. I like your look. I love that look. And I rock that myself. But I took a picture of myself yesterday, and I had on a pair of jeans and a denim shirt because I was working on. I really didn't want to put on a dress, and it was chilly, and I just wanted to be comfortable. So the thing is, I love the house dresses, and we talked about um, in our couple shows ago, we talked about 3 articles on homemaking, and one of them had to do with the house dress. And I've got several house dresses, and I love wearing them. It just makes it so simple to get up and just put one on. But you can be you can be a good homemaker and wear the mom uniform. Now, what's the mom uniform? Well, what I've been learning from watching different videos is that the mom uniform could be a t-shirt and jeans, could be a t-shirt and yoga pants. It doesn't have to be that. And I encourage you to try to step it up just a little bit, because you can be cute in jeans and a shirt, that kind of thing, have your hair done, your lipstick on, but it doesn't have to be. You can create a cozy and comfortable home and have on a t-shirt and jeans and a pair of flats or a pair of gym shoes or sandals or whatever is pertinent for your area. But you do want to have your hair nice. And if you don't wear makeup, you want to at least have on some moisturizer and tend to your skin. So Diva Lashes, what is your name? And thank you for introducing that thread, because I wanted to bring that up. My hair keeps getting in my ear and tickling my ear, and that's why I keep digging in them. So I have to stop that. So, okay. So now let's see what's over here in the discussion, because that did bring up some a discussion. And then Miss Congeniality is here. Well, hey, I didn't know you were here. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Lois says, choose your battles. And yes, you definitely want to choose your battles. You have to be healthy and cook healthy. Yes, you want to do that. And Rachel says, depends on the day and what's going on. But most of the day, she's ready to go minus the brassiere until she leaves the household. You know, she thinks, she says that's a torture device and it's not welcome past the threshold. Okay, I get it. My mom used to say that, but I got to support the girls. I definitely wear brassiere all the time. And Kendra is saying, be careful. She lost her fiance in March. So yes, pick your battles. Pick your battles about what it is that you want to go the mat for. And there's some things, like I think we talked about this last week, that I have decided it's just not important. For example, when he unloads the dishwasher, I don't complain about some of the dishes not being in the right place. Most of them get put in the right place, and the things that aren't, I just move them around. And some things that if you need a change in behavior, you can gently discuss it, have a conversation and not be yelling and nagging, that kind of thing. And that's a good comment too, Kendra. We were at the beauty shop one day. There were about 4 of us in there. 3 of us were married and 1 of us was a widow. And you know how sometimes ladies will get together and they'll make comments about things their husbands do. Nothing really bad, just little things that ladies like to talk about, like my husband leaves his hats on the chair or on the sofa. You know, he walks past the closet and his hat and coat goes on a chair, you know, that kind of thing. And the other ladies were just making just little comments like that, innocuous comments. And Mrs. Russell said, I'm going to stop y'all right there. And we looked at her and she said, all y'all in here got a husband except for me. She was reminding us that her husband had just died within the past year or so. And we all still had husbands. So her comment was, y'all in here complaining about little stuff. And she reminded us right then and there on the spot to think about that. And so I try not to do that anymore. So that's why I was saying, you know, you can be grateful for the presence and certain little things like that. So yes, Kendra, you're right. Pick your battles. Being a good listening ear is important too. And yes, Kendra, we are sorry that you lost your fiance. I was so busy wanting to talk about the point you were making that I didn't comment on that. So I'm sorry about that. I'm not going to talk about the bra. Cheryl, Diva Lashes, her name is Cheryl. So thank you, Cheryl. It is so good to have you here. So Nefertari is saying one thing she's learning. She always looked at as an afterthought, decor and decorating, and it's proven to be her Achilles heel. But she does think it's important to make decor a part of homemaking. And let me just share with you guys one of my apron notes. And I don't know where I put them. Oh, here they are. And I think it is important that you do that. And one of the apron notes that I have is, okay, where's that one? Where's that one? This one, where it says, you're the art in the art and science of homemaking. So Nefertari, you're the art. So the things that you do in regards to your home decor, the flower pot on the table, those kinds of things, you know, the pot of herbs on the windowsill, whatever you do on the porch, whatever you do for home decor, that's the art that you bring to homemaking. And so, yes, that is important as well. Doesn't have to be super great. And, you know, if you're into minimalism, that can be part of your art as well. But it's what you bring, those things that you do with your hands and your heart that create that. Okay, let's see. So Rachel says she doesn't use a lot of makeup, and you don't have to. She said her hair is typically in a ponytail till Lance goes to bed, and that's fine. You know, you don't have to do a whole bunch of, you know, it could be a messy bun, ponytail, whatever. You just want to be presentable and feel good about yourself. If that's all you want to try to do is feel good about yourself. So I'm not sure what Cal's OMG is. So Cheryl said that's just her and her mom. Cute, anything is fine, just being pulled together. So she's mimicking her grandmother and her mother. So these are things that she learned from her mom and her grandmother. This is how a homemaker should look. So hey, I ain't mad at you. And I'm rocking the same look myself most of the time. And I will say my husband does seem to like it. So Penny says the mom uniform is what works for her and she's comfortable. You can be cute and comfortable at the same time. So Nefertari says she wears what her husband enjoys seeing her in. And I must admit, my husband does like it when I wear a dress and he can see my legs. I know that's TMI, but he does like that. So Khadijah is disagreeing. She says the part of the Proverbs 31 says how a woman is dressed is important and it's important to be presentable always. And I agree. I agree that it's important to be presentable always, but Khadijah, the question is, what is presentable? See, I think that's the question. What is presentable? And I have changed my perspective in what is presentable. One of the things that I don't do, and this is just me, but I did kind of get some of this perspective from another creator. Like, I love to wear workout gear. I like to wear yoga clothes. The first thing I put on in the morning is my yoga clothes. And then sometimes I keep them on all day. And if I had to run out and go to the store, that kind of thing, I would just wear them to wherever. I don't do that anymore. One of the reasons why I don't do that is because I don't think it's quite as presentable as I thought at one time. Number one, I'm a woman of a certain age. So I feel like I need to be a little bit more presentable. I try to be a little bit more modest now. And one of the reasons why I try to be a bit more modest is one of my videos, and you guys are going to laugh at this, but it was one of my videos where I was cooking. And this guy left a comment on my video. He said, "You thick." THICK, thick, you thick. I was like, what? I'm like, who says that? Number one, who says that to a woman? And I'm like, and what is he looking at? So then I thought, okay, so if I'm bending over, putting something in the stove, my behind is up in the air. I'm like, okay, he getting the wrong idea because these aren't the kind of videos that I'm not trying to generate those kinds of ideas. So that's why now when I'm doing any cooking videos, I try to have on a skirt or a dress so that if I do bend over, you're not seeing all. It's you guys, you ladies know what I mean. So that's the thing that I think about more now, because like I said, I want to be more presentable. I am more mature. So that's why I tend to wear more skirts and dresses and that kind of thing. But I think you can be presentable and modest, and it doesn't have to be a dress or a skirt. But like if I don't go out in my yoga clothes anymore. And then I was listening to Jennifer Scott on the Daily Connoisseur, who I just love. She was doing a thing about being presentable. She always does something on that. I like a lot of her ideas. Not everything, but a lot of her ideas. And she talked about if you have to go out, your exercise clothes, you're leaving the gym. She says, take a cover up. And I typically wear black yoga pants. And I thought, I've got a couple of black long skirts, pleated skirts, that I could just roll up and throw in a bag or throw on over my yoga pants if I need to wear those out. So I think about it from that perspective. So there's that. So yes, how a woman is dressed is important. And I agree it's important to be presentable always. I wholeheartedly agree with that. So I'm not sure what it is that you're disagreeing with. If you're disagreeing with what the women are wearing, like if it's the jeans and the shirt or what, because I think we all agree that it's important to be presentable. The question is just, people may have different thoughts on that. So there's that. Okay. So, Blue Skies is saying she wears whatever she wants, but she knows that part of it's due to her weight gain, but she does want to have her hair done and a little makeup to be presentable. Okay. So I'm not going to get much into bras, but yeah, we all understand the torture of that. So Rachel said she's been adding to her dresses. Her husband really likes her in the few that she's had. Yes, my husband really likes it. So I've been wearing a lot more too. And yeah. Cheryl said decorating. A man loves to show off his house. He's proud of what his wife has done. Yes. Even when they complain about the money, because my son, one of my sons, is always complaining about his wife loves flowers. She has flowers everywhere. Outside. She doesn't put them in the house because he has a lot of allergies, but she has them all over the house outside. Her yard is always beautiful. And he's always complaining, oh, she bought more flowers. Blah, 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 blah. But he's the first one to say, we got third place in the homeowners association for our front yard and that kind of thing, bragging on what they got based on, her flower sense and that kind of thing. So yes. Yes, Tammy, you get yourself ready first thing in the morning. Even if you're staying home, it's good because then you can run out if you have to. So that's why one of the things with the Fly Lady process, you get dressed in the morning. First thing in the morning, you get dressed to shoes. And she says lace up or tie up shoes or buckle up shoes. And I'll put on slippers sometimes or flats, that kind of thing. But yeah, when I stay in yoga clothes, I always regret it because something comes up, somebody drops by, then I'm running upstairs, that kind of thing. So it does do better to lay out your clothes. And in my last video that I did, I talked about that as part of my morning routine. Laying out that dress or whatever it is I'm going to wear the night before just really works. I even lay out my yoga clothes. Hey, Carolyn. Cal, I wear leggings, but I don't wear them out anymore. Now I've got a pair of jeggings that I wear. I wear those, when I go out. So jeggings or jean-like things. So I wear those because they give me a good fit, and it's hard to get good fitting jeans these kind of days. But yeah. Oh, okay. I get you. I get you. Oh, there's that. Okay, I get you. I got that. I agree with that. Oh, Lois is talking about wearing a delicate scent is important to both your husband and your children. I agree. And you know what? You wear that and they come to associate a certain scent with you. I like that idea. They associate that. Very nice. Okay. I think so there's that. So a funny thing I had planned, I had that on my list of things to talk about. So we got that taken care of. I guess one other question I want to ask you guys is, has the role of homemaker changed over time? Has the role of homemaker changed over time? I'd like to get your thoughts on that. So now Nefertiri says that her husband and children love her fragrances. They all hug her and embed their nose in her neck. And she imagines later in life the scents will come back as memories. And yes, Nefertiri, it will. And when your husband or your partner is giving you attention many times, when when they snuggle up to you, many times it's like right there along the neck or right up there along your ear, where they're kind of nuzzle a little bit, and so that scent does remain and attract them. So I agree with that. Hey, Mary, no, you're not late. I'm glad you're here. So Megan says she's moved toward wrap skirts to deal with the weight fluctuations, and she's looking forward to skirts for the summer. I'm really kind of moved more toward dresses, and I'm looking more to finding more pretty floral dresses for summer that are like mid-length, like just below the knee, because I really feel like at my age, I shouldn't be wearing dresses that are above the knee. So just because that's just my thought. Now for other people, it may work for them, but not to mention I put on a little weight too, so the knees aren't quite as pretty as they used to be. So I like the tea length dresses now. Okay. So Rachel says she doesn't think, and the question on the table is, has the role of homemaker changed? And Rachel says she doesn't think it's changed, but how we do things and new technology and such does affect it. And I have to agree with that. We've got newer technology to help us streamline and ease some things up. Like, do anybody out there have one of those little Roomba robot vacuums that you turn it on and it just goes all around the room and vacuums? I don't, but some people have those. We've got the dishwasher to help with dishes, load it up, put them in there, and then unload it when they're done. We don't have to use wringer washers and that kind of thing. We've got electric washers and dryers in most places that we can use to help ease our workload, that kind of thing. So there's all of that. So I think as far as the role of homemaker, including cooking, cleaning, laundry, managing the family, and making sure that the dwellings and all that kind of thing is still in good order, making appointments, all that remains the same. But just how we do it might have changed. Like we may be keeping a lot of that in our phones and that kind of thing. So there's that. So Tracy says the role has changed, and then she's got her little Betty Crocker Better Homes and Garden cookbook, and she's got a vintage one, it looks like, and then she's got a mixer and then a canner cookbook. Okay, so there's that. Uh, Mary Cleveland says the role has pretty much stayed the same over the years. I think the role itself of homemaker has pretty much stayed the same. The duties, when I say the duties, are pretty much the same as far as cooking, cleaning, laundry, raising the children, and then caring for your partner, the partner caring for you, that kind of thing. Those are pretty much stayed the same. But for me, at my particular place on the timeline now, I think my role as homemaker has changed because, there were times when we first got married, I was home, and then I was home with babies. And then I went out to work, and different times I was out working, I was in the home. So I did different things. Again, keeping pretty much the same duties. So when I went out to work, I still did all the same things I did at home. But I think now I bring a different perspective to my role as homemaker. And I'm not as resentful about some of the activities that I have to do as homemaker. Because I mean, let's face it, who likes cleaning toilets? Nobody. Who likes mopping floors? Nobody. And when people ask me about my floor routine, I'm like, well, I don't have a floor routine because my husband mops the floors, that kind of thing. But I just have a different attitude about how I approach things. And I think I shared with you guys the story about how we had to serve my dad. We'd have to bring the salt, the pepper, the bread, bring the plate, sit down, and just scurry all around like little ants to when it was time to sit down at the table. And I decided when I get married, I am not doing that. And I talked about when my mom and dad came to visit us in our first little apartment, and my dad went and sat down at the table, ready to eat, and my husband's watching all of this, and he's like, what? So he goes and sits down at the table with my dad, and I'm giving him the side eye, like, what do you think you're doing? And so, of course, I had to bring the plate and do all the serving, that we normally did for my dad. I did the same thing for him. And to this day, he tells his friends that story. I'm like, yeah, Stuart sat down at the table like he's a doggone king, and it was my house. And I was just like, now he exaggerates it to a certain degree, but today, as a seasoned, more mature homemaker, there are times when I will fix a plate and bring it over there to him. I don't mind that now. I feel like he has earned that service from me because of what he's given in return. And I realize, you know what? It ain't that deep. It's like, what? I'm at the counter. It's just as easy for me to dish it up and take it over there and put it on the table. Now, while I'm dishing up something at the counter, he's also doing some things. He might be laying the table while I'm fixing the plate, or he might be getting out the drink. So it's like we're working together at that now. So it is different. All right. So I know Khadijah has a video on they're talking about a store, and I don't know what store that is, but it's a Better Homes and Garden cookbook. 49 mom of 18 years daughter. For 49 mom of 49 years, I think, and has an 18-year-old daughter. Anyway, yes, it's a Better Homes and Garden cookbook. I like to look at that cookbook. You know, I love old cookbooks. So people are talking about a store that they're going to check out. Um, So Khadijah is talking to someone about dresses. So Megan is saying that she doesn't do well with the caftan style, and that Khadijah has some really pretty styles. And Khadijah did do a video recently on her dresses, you know, dresses for a week or modest dresses or something like that. So I would encourage you to check her out. Khadijah, if you want to put the link to that video here in the description box, and I mean in the description box in the chat, hopefully it'll take. Because I think people might be interested in seeing it. And I had put some links in last week's show where you can get some dresses for the homemaker. You know, just some modest dresses. So there's that. Penny, I'm glad you were here with us. Exactly, Jinxie. Exactly. Since your husband retired, he helps out more. He's the one that cleans the bathroom, and said he won't sit down until the cook sits down. I like that too. So, you know, like I'll go to the steps and I'll say, well, you know, dinner, and then he'll come down, and while I'm doing this and that, then he'll start doing some other things for the table. Or if he cooks dinner that day and then he says, okay, babe, come on down, then I come down and I start laying the table while he's doing whatever. We share those responsibilities and those opportunities now. Now, like as I told Bamsey earlier, I still do most of it, but he'll help do whatever I ask him to do. And sometimes if I don't feel up to it or just don't want to do it, he'll just take over and do those things. So that as we have grown closer together as a couple, we just kind of help each other out more. So yeah. Okay, I got you, Tracy. Okay. And right, Nefertiri, you says watching all that he does to keep the family taken care of, you enjoy serving him. And exactly, it's like as I've matured and he's matured, and it's like I have a different perspective on certain things, and I see the things that he does, and he sees what I do, and it's like we appreciate each other more now too. So I agree. Yes, so there's that. Now, Khadijah said she dreads cleaning the bathroom. Khadijah hates cleaning the bathroom. She doesn't like cleaning toilets. You know what, though, Khadijah? That the one thing that I like to do, you know, I do the daily swish and swipe according to the Fly Lady cleaning system, and it just stays nice. So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah. Blue Skies, can you link the video of Khadijah from Her Healthy Home had about her dresses for the week? I've got a video that I've been working on where I showed what I wore in a week, different dresses and things that I had. I just haven't had the chance to get it edited. So I would ask Blue Skies if you could do that. No, I'm just going to answer for her. No, she doesn't. Khadijah's kids are too little. But yeah, they're too little because hers are still toddlers. But yeah, they do need to learn to be neat in the bathroom. I won't address that. But you guys, if you got boys or even men in the household, you guys know what I mean. And then Nefertiri is being said, she's told that she respects, that she loves how she respects her husband. She admires that. I agree. All right. So let's see. I think that was all of the different things. All right. So I think we talked about the last thing on the list that I wanted to talk about in regards to what does the homemaker look like. We talked about how you execute your role, whether or not the homemaker's role has changed over time. And we also talked about the dress of the modern homemaker, which varies from modest dresses, flats, hair, makeup on point, to the mom uniform of a t-shirt and jeans and the ponytail. Or, some people stay in yoga pants all day, that kind of thing. I think you want to feel as presentable as you can. You want to feel comfortable. And you want to feel attractive, and you want to do that for yourself. Now, I know when you first have a new baby, it's all you can do. You're lucky if you can get a shower in. But once you get to a point where you can manage your time a little bit better, it's really helpful if you can get a little bit more presentable for you. And you get to determine what that presentable is. I'm not trying to define that for you. You get to determine what that is. So now, Rachel, you guys have been right on point tonight, because I was going to be, the next topic I was going to address was, let me find your note here. Okay, so here's the link for Khadijah's video where she talked about her dresses and modest dressing and that kind of thing. And I think you'll find it very interesting. Let's see. And so here was Rachel asking about the herb project. Is it due next month? And so I was going to talk about that. And so last week, I challenged all of you homemakers to plant some herbs. And I'm challenging you to do that because I think it'll be so cool if you have some fresh herbs that you can just clip a little bit off of, pinch off a little rosemary to cook with. Just something fresh that you can cook with to make meals for your family. And it can be as simple as a pot of rosemary or thyme on your kitchen windowsill, or it can be a patio pot of tomatoes that's on your patio, whatever you want to do, but just something that you can just play in the dirt just a little bit, and you can have something fresh. And then maybe next year you can expand that. But I have challenged all of you to create just a little bit of an herb container garden. What kind of herbs should you plant? Well, plant the kind of herbs you like to cook with. If you like tomatoes, then plant a little tomato plant. But plant something that is the herbs that you like to cook with, that are easy to grow, and something you will use. So I'm challenging all of you homemakers to plant an herb pot, and an herb garden, or a container garden. You get to decide how you want this herb garden to work, but let's play in the dirt just a little bit. So I'm going to share my screen for a second, and let me just find the share the screen button and share the screen. Oh, wait a minute. Let me stop first. I got to get that off the screen. There. Now I'm going to share the screen. So I've got just a little clip here. I started working on my herb container garden, and Rachel was wondering, is it due next month? And yes, I am hosting a container garden challenge on June 14th. And you can decide if you want to create a whole container garden. Let me just turn this on for a second. You can kind of see what I'm doing. So the noise you heard is as always, I'm listening to an audio book when I'm outside working, and I got my handy little water bottle. What am I doing with that thing there? I don't even, but let's see. This is just a clip, and I haven't edited the video at all. But what I wanted you guys to see was that I am planting a small pot, just a little small galvanized tub with some herbs. I've got some parsley, some thyme, some basil, and these are things that I like to use. These are things that I cook with. And you guys can see right there, I've got an apron on. I've got on that 1L apron in my from my shop, but that's time that I've got right there. Now I'm going to stop sharing and come back over here. So I just wanted you guys to see that I've started with a small container garden, but you guys saw those little pots that I had. You can get one of those little pots, those little plants, and you can put it in a bigger pot that you're going to have, that you can put on your windowsill, on your kitchen counter, on your patio, on your stoop. And you guys can, if you, you can have that done by June 14th. And then if you are a YouTube creator, then you can send a picture of that container garden. Well, you can create a video of whatever you're doing and send it and upload it when I post the information about that. If you're not a YouTube creator, but you just want to participate and you want to, just have one little herb pot, that's fine. Send me a picture. My email is in the description box. So send me a picture and I'll post it on my community tab and show what some of my subscribers or my viewers are doing to bring a little bit of freshness into their kitchen. So there's that. So Megan said hers started helping out about 4. I think her kids, Khadijah's children are younger than that. And she uses chemicals that are safe. So there's that. I'm in Northeast Indiana, Megan. We talked about that once before, though. Yeah. So, no, it doesn't have to be in a new pot, Khadijah, not at all. You can show your potted herb collection, because one of the things that I mentioned last week was that it could be, you might have 3 or 4 pots of herbs. And I just showed that little clip, me putting them in the container, because I haven't started working on the video yet. But there's going to be a collection of little pots that I'm going to put together. So you might decide that your container garden is going to be a collection of pots, and you've got a container garden that way. Or you might decide, like I did, that one little herb container, you might have one tub or one big pot with several different kind of things in it. And it doesn't have to be, for the container garden challenge, it doesn't have to be herbs. It can be flowers. I'm just challenging my homemakers to do herbs. And I'll be doing another one for the container garden challenge, because I always do plant an herb pot early in the season, because I like using fresh herbs. So Khadijah's in Tennessee, close to Memphis, and my daughter is in Tennessee, so I'm there from time to time. Let's see. So Megan's going to plant some strawberries in some of her tiers. Maybe she'll do herbs on the top tier. Goshen, Elkhart area. I'm not that far north. That's up closer to Chicago way. I'm not up that way. I'm in Northeast Indiana. Tracy's in Southern Michigan. Oh, Cal, you planted some. Cal said she was going to think about it. And then one of my other friends, Kathleen, was on with us for the past 2 weeks. She said she went to Lowe's and she got a few herbs as well. She picked up some peppermint and I think some thyme. So yes, Cal, what are you growing? And really, I encourage all of you to grow some things. Rachel, you too. You're in Hawaii, girl. You can grow some good stuff out there. And it doesn't have to be, anything big, but just something small, something simple. Yeah, I used to work at IPFW. Yeah, exactly. I'm close to there. Okay. So, all right. So I encourage you, ladies and gents, to create an herb container. And then let me just say, for those of you that are listening on the replay, please join us in planting an herb pot. And if you choose to, you can even advance that and participate in the Container Garden Challenge. And let's just say also, I have got a couple of invitations to extend to you. First of all, I want to invite you to check out my last video where I shared some tips for a productive morning routine. And then upcoming challenges include the Herb Pot Challenge that I have sent out to all of you. And you can do the Herb Pot Challenge, send me a picture, I'll post it on my community tab, or you can choose to participate in the Container Garden Challenge and save that, create a video and upload that on June 14th. And that container garden can be herbs or flowers, whatever you want it to be. And then also, if you want to do a little bit of pretty in your kitchen, I have my Summer Kitchen Vignette Challenge, an open invite that's on June 7th. So those are some challenges that are coming up. So for the Summer Kitchen Vignette, again, that's part of that art in the art and science of homemaking, just a little bit of pretty that I put on my counter, that kind of thing. I don't know how much longer it's going to be there, though, because once my husband gets his Ninja Foodie Grill back, I'll have to move it. And then also be sure to visit our sponsors, Apron Diva, and I've got the link for Apron Diva. It's www.aprondiva.com in the description box, as well as Coldest Water, our co-sponsor, and the link for that is in the description box. And again, sign up for the giveaways that they have, that kind of thing, but do check them out. So in the meantime, this is Denise Jordan saying you're not done yet until you click on the link in the description box and check out our co-sponsors for today's show. Now, let me see what I got over here. So Rachel's going to participate. She's going to pick up some things for herbs next week. And remember, guys, it doesn't have to be pricey. You can use a bucket, a nice little pot. You can use a box, a crate, whatever you have. You don't have to get anything fancy or expensive. So Megan was at, okay, she's talking about the college where I used to work. So, oh, Khadijah got some really cool herbs, some soapwort. It makes natural soap and water, a toothache plant. Huh. What's the name of the toothache plant? You guys know Mary at Mary's Nest talked about some medicinal herbs that you can plant and what you can use them for. And it was such an interesting video. It was just so interesting. And I also got this book, which of course is not up here since I wanted to show it to you guys because I didn't plan on talking about that book. But yeah, you guys, but yeah, it was just so interesting. So I'm interested to know about your soapwort and the toothache plant. Which video was this, Khadijah, that you liked a lot? Which one was I in? I'm not sure which one this one is. So tell me which video that was, because if you liked it a lot, I want to continue that, kind of thing. Because if my people like it, I definitely want to do what they like. Hey, Stacy, good to have you with us. Yes. Okay, Doris. Doris LeBrant says times are going to be tighter than ever. Plant something you can eat. You can't eat flour. So now that brings up something else. And then Mary says I inspired her to do a morning routine. Cal, oh my goodness, Cal planted sage, basil, oregano, thyme, and rosemary. I planted all those same things. Those are the spices that I like to cook with, and they're so easy to grow. Oh, the routine video. Okay, good. All right, now I got something else to share with you guys, and this is based on Doris's comments. All right. So I have a couple comments that people made on videos, okay, that I need to share. So let me share those. So one of the comments, and this is from Terry Chelnick, and this is about the morning routines video. She said she loved the video and would love to see evening routine as well as cleaning routines for the morning and the evening. So that's something that I'll certainly get in. So she enjoyed that morning routine video as well as did Khadijah. So thank you. So I'm glad you liked that. Okay, and then So now this is from Joan K. And Joan says, I know this is off topic, but Alaska Prepper reported a recall on organic black beans from Costco. Please let your subs know and take a look at his video to see if you might have any of the recalled black beans in your area. He gave the serial numbers and the expiration dates and those kinds of things. So be sure to check the black beans, especially if you bought black beans from Costco. And it could be that I haven't seen the video yet, so I'm going to check it out as she's requested me to do. But I'm just passing on that the Alaska Prepper mentioned that there was a recall on black beans from Costco. So if you're a Costco shopper and you've purchased black beans, check out Alaska Prepper's video so that you can get the serial numbers and check that. So there's that. And then now this one is just cute. So this one is from Chris Terwigger, and she brought one of the aprons from Apron Diva. And she said she just received her apron. She got the red checked one. So she got the Jilly and she loved it and she'll be ordering more. But she thought the price was good and it came quickly and it was beautifully packaged. And it was her Mother's Day gift herself. So yes, consider buying a Mother's Day gift for yourself. She said the only problem was her 5-year-old granddaughter was there when it arrived and said, Grandma, I need one too. So she wanted to know if I plan on adding any for children. She would like to buy some. So we do plan on adding some for children. So that's coming, but coming soon. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. Let's see. This person said another thing to do for spring cleaning in the kitchen is move the stove and refrigerator out and clean the walls and the floor behind them and all of the vents of the refrigerator. Yes, that's very true. And let's see. Oh, this is from Jean. You guys know she's on with us quite a bit. She wants to know, does the coldest water bottle leak when tilted? And the answer to that question is no. Doesn't leak at all. And I put it wherever so it doesn't leak. What else? Oh, sorry for being indelicate. This one's about putting cinnamon sticks on the window ledge to keep ants and bugs away. Change them yearly. They don't like the smell. So that's good because you guys know I struggle with ants in the spring. Okay. Okay. So those are the comments that I wanted to address on today's show. So Mary said I've inspired her to start a morning routine. And Mary, a morning routine is just so important because, again, it just becomes effortless. You know what you're going to do. You don't have to stop and think about it. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, so you can get it done more quickly. So I'm glad that you're going to start one. And take a look at the tips that I gave you in that video. So yes, so Doris, I'm glad you brought the fact that some prices are going up. And there was also something that I learned recently about chicken, something about there might be a shortage of chicken. I haven't done the research on it yet, but I kind of got bits and pieces about that. So that's something you guys might want to think about. And I'm going to be doing more research, and then I'll be doing a video on that lately. And Doris, I'm so glad that you did join us. It was been a fun discussion. So Michelle's going to use a stock tank for her container, herbs and tomato peppers. Not sure what else. What's a stock tank? Is it like a stock pot, an old stock pot? Is that what you're talking about? Or did you have like an old fishing an old fish tank or something like that. Not sure what that is. Rain Country, I love her show. She has, or rather her channel, she has lots of good ideas and uses for herbs. Oh, a tank that livestock would get water from. Oh, they're real big, like a real big trough, and you would have it on the ground. Okay, that makes sense. I know what that is. Okay. You know what, Cindy? I've got some spearmint, some peppermint, and some sweet mint. And I have a little, I don't have any chocolate mint though. I've got a little grandniece though. She's 4. Her name is Zaria. And I'm going to plant her a little herb garden. She likes to taste different little things. And when I like took her out in the garden and let her taste the chives and different things, she thought that was so cool. She thought the chives tasted oniony and she ate a whole strand. She thought the rosemary was disgusting. So I'm going to plant a little garden for her in one of those um, movable containers, like the little long, they're about what, 3 or 4 feet long and about maybe 8 inches wide, but like a little planter box. And I'll take the step to her house and we'll plant it there and she'll have it out there and she can water it and she can bring her little friends out there and they can taste this peppermint and this spearmint. And I even got some lemongrass. So, and they have recipes on the cards to show you how you can make nice, cool drinks using some of those. So that's going to be fun. Mm. Oh, so Khadijah's talking about the apron she got. Cinnamon oil, basil oil, or lemon oil on a Q-tip. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got some basil oil that I've been using. No, bay oil that I've been using in my pantries to keep them out of there. Oh, I didn't know that. Separate your mints, though. If you plant them close, they will all revert to spearmint. I've got them in different pots. I'm not going to put them in the same pot. And if you plant mint, do not plant it in the ground because it will take over. I'm going to put the mint in a pot by itself. And I'm going to tell Zari, I'm saying, honey, don't let these get out of the pot because if they like grow out over, get into the ground, you'll have a yard full of mint. You'll never be able to get rid of it. So yes, but thank you for that. All right. Well, guys, we have been on, gosh, we've been on for an hour and 45 minutes. I did not intend for that to happen. So, but we've been on for a while and it's been fun. This was a fun conversation. I enjoyed talking about, well, the things we talked about tonight. And I hope it gave you some food for thought about what is your role of a homemaker? What should you look like as a homemaker? Should you look presentable? Yes. What does being presentable mean to you? Well, you'll have to decide that for yourself. But there is presentable and then there's presentable. So there's that. I think that's it. Oh, mopping your floor with lemon oil. Oh, that can help with ants. Okay, I'll try that. Got another comment coming. This one is good. I think I've been kind of snuffly the past couple of days. I've been outside working with that soil, and I think it's caused my allergies to kind of flare up. Okay, so Doris says hyperinflation is coming. My fiance is a financial guy. Stock up while you can afford it. Plant now. Learn to bake, sew, fixing, etc. I will admit that there was a package on the news the other day, and it was about the higher prices of groceries, that grocery prices were going up. So, Doris, thank you for bringing this to our attention. So we need to be thinking about those things and stocking up on the things that your family eats. So I'll be doing a prepping video soon and I'll be talking about that. So keep that in mind and start stocking up on the things that you can. And I know for those of you that don't have a lot of money, it can be difficult. I do have a book that I got. I haven't read it yet, but it's called Poverty Prepping, How to Stock Up for Tomorrow When You Can't Afford to Eat Today. This is the book that I'm looking at right here. And so I'll talk a little bit about that next week, and I'll put a note about it in my description box later on. So it's really time for us to go, ladies. So it's been good. Yes, Vamsy, the live is over. It's time for you to go to bed and the rest of us too. So Tracy said she's been watching Ice Age Farmer and he covers everything. Yeah, Ice Age Farmer is another prepper that talks about some of those things. And then Michelle's got to get ready for hurricane season. Yeah, I understand that too. We don't have that here, but it's time to say goodnight. There was a song that I used to hear at the end of a show. They used to sing something about good night. Anyway, it's been fun, ladies and gents. I enjoyed having you guys on tonight. I think we had a lot of good conversation. And Megan said she's talking preparedness next week too. So yeah, good night, everybody. It was good to have you on with me. See you next week. Plant those herbs. Bye.